and like I said, I'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll get going. Um, let's see. Anybody have any Excel cases that they've done lately? Anybody getting excited for doing some themselves?
I started the Reels case study this morning, so I think that just came out.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah. We posted a story about the reels. That was one of the first ones I actually did on like a live broadcast. So
Okay.
it's kind of a fun one for me to put up there. That is a good one. Yeah, there's definitely some learning how to wrap. Like if you have a list of 25 things and you want the 37th, figuring that out.
Mhm.
It's kind of a fun problem to think through.
Yeah, yeah. It's been enjoyable so far. We'll see. Once I get up to the extra hard levels, maybe not so much.
Right. I think when I did that one live, the dim early finished it in like 15 minutes. So to give you an idea.
No surprise there. Yeah.
Right. All right, perfect. Well, I gave it kind of the compulsory couple minutes. So let's just jump in and we'll start talking through this. All right, so welcome to kind of this finals webinar. My name is David Brown. I'm here at the University of Arizona and the founder of the MECC. I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of the MECC if you don't know too much yet. Like I said before, feel free to jump in with any questions at all throughout, and we'll go on tangents and we'll, again, just get your questions answered so you're comfortable with understanding what the finals event is, what it means to bring students to it, and be able to engage your students to get them excited about coming as well. So let's just jump in. And like I said, just unmute yourself and ask a question whenever you feel like you want when something comes up. All right, so just very quickly, what is the MECC? It's a free extracurricular program. It's meant to supplement college curricula because it's just really hard to find ways to get Excel into the classroom sometimes. As a professor, it's not clear how it should take precedent over your regular class materials. It's not clear what exactly you should cover and how. So to kind of overcome that and kind of as a way to address that problem, I started the MECC, trying to provide this extra challenge for students. So it is a series of gamified Excel models, to put it kind of simply, split into really two categories. There are the challenges that come with walkthrough videos. So this is much more about training from a basic level to more advanced level. We have lots of different materials, really just, again, meant to engage students, to show them different functions and capabilities in Excel. It's not so much, hey, how does the sum function work? But I want to open students' eyes to, oh, there's this thing called filter that's relatively new and it can do some really powerful things. And you don't have to master filter by any means, but I want you to know about it. That way, when it comes up in your job or in a class, you can do the research to figure it out. The other side are the competitions that are really built to highlight test skills and really have fun as well. These, we've had monthly challenges in the first semester this year, kind of January through April. We had an April regional competition at the University of Tennessee that Eric Kelly hosted. We're going to have another battle coming up here in September when the semester kicks off. And then we kind of have a couple events that lead into the finals that I'll talk about throughout the presentation today. And then, current stats, we have about 5,600 students from about 700 schools in 100 countries. So we've grown real well. But we're really looking to you all to get your students engaged, to find those students that are also going to drive other students to get engaged and really grow the whole program that way. And actually, I want to take a quick second to stop and thank a couple people here. So first, if you guys haven't met Thomas, Thomas is in here somewhere. If you want to raise, yeah, there you go. He waves his hand. Thomas is our strategic partnerships director. Basically, he is helping with the college ambassador program, and he knows everything I'm talking about today. So if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to him. You can also always reach out to me. And I also want to thank Rob Landcrick of the CFA Institute, who emailed a lot of you and kind of pushed that out. So thank you, Rob, for kind of pushing the information out to just get more people informed about what we're doing here. All right, so jumping on, let me give you an idea of the upcoming schedule before we jump into the finals and kind of what it's all about. All right, so like I said, we did challenges back in January through April, these 30-minute Excel esports battles. We're going to have one on September 19th. This is kind of the first event of the fall semester. It's a 30-minute case. What happens in these is that the students and professionals, actually, we do them in parallel, get access to the case about 45 minutes before a broadcast starts. That gives them 30 minutes to do the case, a few minutes of buffer just for technical issues. And then we start a live stream where several commentators actually watch as 4 participants go through and complete the case. It's a great way to kind of talk about the case, talk about techniques to solve it, and then see in the real world how people are doing it. It's very much the esports angle of the program. And for September, we're actually going to have 4 professors competing in that one. So it'll be really exciting that we're kind of bridging the MECC side with the professional Microsoft Excel World Championship side, putting it all together, and professors are going to be leading that way. And I'll be commentating that one as well. So that's the next esports battle coming up. What's very quickly after that are the online qualification rounds. There are 2 rounds. So these are a little bit longer. These are 2-hour blocks. So we do a little bit more testing. Really, we're trying to get a better signal of the best students. That way, those are the ones that are going to qualify in for the finals. The first block or the first round is September 28th and 29th. So it's over a weekend. And the students can pick 2 hours anytime during that to complete it. They just have to turn it in within the 2-hour window when they start it. So this is very much open-ended, trying to encourage as much participation as possible. And then 2 weeks later, I think on Sunday, October 13th, we have a 2-hour block for everyone in the world. So it's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. It's kind of the best block we could find to accommodate both Australia and Hawaii. But that's basically the time where everybody's going to do it. We don't want the case basically leaking. So we're a little bit more worried about controlling cheating and that kind of thing. And that's why we do these 2 different rounds, and we take cumulative scores. And that's going to help students qualify for the finals. And again, I'll get into the details of that in a few minutes. After that, we have the finals event in Vegas. So that's mainly what we're talking about today, December 2nd to 4th. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right after Thanksgiving. So hopefully it's not too close to finals for most schools. I surveyed a few and it looked pretty clear, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple of schools that do have finals right up on that. And for that, I apologize. The other thing I'll note is that we do have training challenges that are available continuously. So we have a lot of keyboarding exercises. We have, like I said, a personal finance exercises that are up on the site. And also all the past challenges that we've had are also up there for students to do. Let me take a quick second and just pause to see if anybody wants to interject any questions in right now.
David, on that, did you say when you say they're available continuously, is that like an asynchronous thing that's pre-recorded, or are those live?
Those are asynchronous.
Okay.
So once we do the live battles, I put a post-competition version up on the XPrep portal. That way students can still download them and then try them whenever they would like. If you have students that want to do that, they can always go back and then find the YouTube video of the kind of the battle. And that'll give them an idea of what other people were doing, what the scores were. They could see the leaderboard that happened, then that kind of thing.
And then do we need to sign up to access these trading challenges on what do you say the site was?
Yeah, so it's the XPrep portal. So if you sign up at mecc.college, that'll give you access. It basically gives you an access code to the XPrep portal. So that's XPrep is basically the grading engine behind all this and where we post all the cases. And there's an option there to sign up as a faculty/staff member, and that'll give you access to everything.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely encourage you all to get in there. That way you can play around with the models and, have fun, but also know what the students have access to. Other questions before I jump on to kind of what the finals are going to be like?
Hi, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Talha. Is everything finance focused, or we can pull in people from other disciplines who use Excel?
Yeah, all disciplines are welcome. We intentionally make it not too finance focused. I'm a finance professor, so that's more where I come from, and we have some personal finance challenges out there. Those are intentionally simple that the way they can be accessible to anyone. And anytime we do have finance or financial modeling, we will make the finance concepts very simple. Like imagine doing just a simple profit and loss statement where it's just, sales minus costs. So it's not going to be conceptually hard from the finance side ever. If your students do want that, the Financial Modeling World Cup is still a great place to get them involved. And I still have a number of my students that actually do the Financial Modeling World Cup challenges, which are much more heavy finance.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Other questions or thoughts? All right, great. Just feel free again to jump in. All right, so the finals schedule. So I want to start out and kind of emphasize what's happening when you're at the finals. And really the big point I want to get across is that this is not just for a competition. This is really a big learning and training opportunity for the students as well as networking. And the competition is definitely there and fun, but the primary aspect is the training that's happening. So, on my screen, you can kind of see that the morning of each day is going to be a training camp. And I'll talk about kind of who's going to be there and giving these trainings in just a second. Generally, we're then going to have a break for lunch. You can see on Monday, there's more training. And then there's a little bit more competition kind of midday for the other days. But a few other things to highlight is that on Monday here, you see from 5 to 6 p.m. is the last chance qualification round. So that's kind of when the competition starts. Everyone who comes to the finals is going to have a chance to compete there. So in a sense, any student you bring can still compete and participate. That will not be taking place in the esports arena. The next 2 nights will be in the esports arena. So that's kind of what distinguishes if you've qualified for the kind of formal finals, that's where you're going to be. Whereas for the last chance qualification, it'll basically be in the conference center that is at the Luxor that we'll be using for all the training camp stuff. So that kind of gives you an idea on the first day. So lots of training in the qualification round. And then the next 2 days, we have the training in the morning and then the activities in the afternoon for competition. So you can see on December 3rd there, the second day, we'll have the semifinals. So that's the Excel championships there in the evening from 5 to 9:30. And then on December 4th, that Wednesday, we'll start a little bit earlier in the day. That way we can get all the finals in because we'll be doing the MECC team finals, the MECC individual finals, as well as I think 2 rounds of finals for the pro competition as well that day. So there'll be a lot going on in that last day of the competition.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Quick question from Rob. Is training camp essentially, are you commingling with Active Cell, basically? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Exactly. It is the Active Cell.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks.
And yeah, so Rob and I met for the first time last year at the Active Cell. It was held for the first time in Vegas in December last year. And what it is just a ton of Excel and financial modeling training. I'd say it was probably 2/3 Excel, 1/3 financial modeling. So it's not too financy if you're going to bring students that are outside the finance realm. But basically, they bring in experts from around the world, a lot of Excel MVPs and kind of Excel esports champions to give talks, basically 1-hour talks on a number of topics. Dynamic arrays, automation tools, Power Query, Power BI, things that are tangential to Excel also get brought in there. So there's going to be some VBA. For me, this is an amazing opportunity for students to see what's possible. Because typically who you're going to bring to this are going to be the excited students that tend to be more advanced. And this is going to really push their boundaries and get them, again, excited about what is possible in Excel and really ready for their careers in a way they don't get that exposure kind of through normal college classes, I think. Not only that, but you can interact with all these people, right? There are tons of great people there. The Excel community is so welcoming and they love to see students there. So I think a lot of these people, I think I know everyone personally on this list here, except your average finance bro. I haven't met him yet. But everyone else is great and really friendly people that I think would love to interact with the students and help them in their career progression. So that's really the ton of value that I think you get for bringing a group of students to the finals. Any questions on kind of what's happening those 2 days before the next section is basically the details of how you get into the finals, how the competition actually happens and costs and that kind of thing.
And maybe you're covering this later, David, but if you have not participated, can you send a group to the finals just for the training, even if they hadn't participated in the classes before or the competition?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anybody is welcome. Obviously they're going to have a little trouble with the last chance qualification if they haven't done any of the competitions before, but I still think it would be very worthwhile just to be there and experience the training camp. Yeah.
David, PK had a question. What level students, undergrad, grad, PhD, dual enrollment? Do we discriminate?
We do not. Any and all levels are welcome. We tend to have about 30% grad students, 70% undergrad. We have a similar mix in the finals. So, really good undergrad students are making the finals. Really good grad students are doing it too. And yeah, anyone and everyone is welcome.
Do you have target majors?
It's broad. I mean, there are some natural majors that tend to be here. I mean, we have a lot of business school majors signed up because that's kind of where my network has come from, and that's where we've started. We're seeing more and more, computer science, data analytics majors, those areas, but we also get nursing and biology. So they're really kind of all over the place. And for me, it's really you find people that are passionate about Excel, like most of you probably are, and they're the ones that spread to their students. And people that are passionate about data and Excel can be in all areas and all disciplines.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
Is there? I'm thinking about selling this to potential students as well as those who are helping provide funding. Is there anything tangible like a badge or a certification or a certificate or anything that students can come home with?
So
Or could there be?
Yes. Yeah. We could easily do a badge, a LinkedIn badge for being a participant in the training camp. We are going to do badges for all the finalists, both individual and teams. That's already in the works, but I think doing a badge for you attended the active cell and essentially get a certificate of completion for that, I think would be a great idea. So that's
My
definitely
experience was, interestingly enough, my experience with students is, regardless of the quality of the tools that they get a sticker. That seals the deal for them.
it starts when they're like one, right? And it just continues on. And if you guys want a sticker for coming today, just let me know and I'll send you one. I got lots at home. All right. Other questions, thoughts before we jump on to the next piece?
David, any thought of making maybe a small part available virtually? We're one of those schools that our exams are right around that time. It's going to be tough, but as a way to reach a wider audience.
So the finals will certainly be broadcast on YouTube. So there's a sense of, participating and by watching the finals. The training camp itself, I do not know, but I will ask kind of the other side. So we do this jointly with the Financial Modeling World Cup and Microsoft Excel World Championship to ask if they've thought about that at all. Because maybe they'll be set up for an option on that. I know it's always a little challenging to make sure you got the hybrid setup working, but I will ask them about that.
Even a registration with a charge to help defer some of the cost, possibly. Yeah. Again, that's a way to maybe whet appetites of folks that couldn't make it.
Right. And I think it's going to be great content. So having it available like that, I think would be really valuable. And, a lot of times people resell these things on replay too. So it might be a great way to raise money and kind of help defer some of the costs too. I like that. All right. Other thoughts? All right. Let's jump in to qualifying. All right. So for the individual finals, we're going to have 64 individuals in the arena, basically on that Tuesday. So that'll be the semifinals. 35 of those people are going to be qualified from the 5 online battles. So we've had 4 of those so far. So we've got 20 students already in. And then we'll have the September battle. And then we're going to have 10 more pre-qualified from the online rounds that happen at the end of September and mid-October. So that's 35 people. We have 14 wild cards. This is basically giving us discretion to make sure we have representation from around the world, and any kind of random things that come up that we want to make sure somebody's able to get here. Like we had a student last year that qualified as a high school student but wasn't old enough yet, so we told them we would save them a wild card so they could participate this year. And then we have 15 last chance qualifiers. So that Monday evening round, the top 15 students who haven't qualified already are going to be into the round the next night. So that's quite a few people that are able to qualify that way. So your team members that, haven't gotten an individual spot yet, or just students that are just interested in participating. I think that's a really great way to kind of motivate them as a way to participate. You're still part of the event, and you could qualify into the esports arena the next day. Now on the teams, we're going to have 16 teams. 6 are going to pre-qualify from those 5 online battles, and we already had Kentucky qualify from the Tennessee regionals. We also have 5 qualifying based on seasonal school rankings. So the school rankings are basically, it's a pretty simple formula, but you basically take the number of students that have signed up from your school, and then you multiply that by the square root of how many challenges they've submitted. All right, so the more your students sign up and submit challenges, the higher your school ranking. And we're going to take the top 5 schools that way and qualify teams in there. That'll all be determined by kind of mid-October once we have those qualification rounds done. So we'll have kind of 11 teams kind of pre-qualified, and then we're going to take 5 teams as part of the last chance qualification process. And I'll talk about exactly how that happens on this next slide. All right, so what happens? The last chance qualification is a 30-minute Excel esports style round. This is going to be taking place for the pros and the students simultaneously. So I plan to be doing this as well. That way I will hopefully qualify into the field of 64 professionals that will compete. You guys are all welcome to do the same. Maybe I'll pre-qualify, but I'm not going to count on that. But it's a fun way to get involved. You're doing the same thing your students are doing. So I think it'll make the experience for everybody better if you're also participating alongside your students there. Everyone participates individually in this case. Like I said, the top 15 students qualify individually. And then the way it works for teams is you take the top 3 students from your school, add those together, and the top 5 sums are going to be the 5 teams that qualify. And that'll be the top 5 teams that aren't already qualified. So, I'm planning on bringing about 10 students from U of A up to it. I don't expect them all to be on my team, obviously, that are going to compete, but I want lots of students to get the experience, the training, and also kind of build my pipeline in the future by having some freshmen and sophomore there as well. Whoever the 3 are that set the kind of high score, they don't necessarily have to be the ones that represent the team in the semifinal. I think it's natural that they would be, but again, I want to give discretion to basically the team leaders, which would be you, to select which students are actually going to compete in the arena when it gets to the semifinals and the finals. So I know that's a lot, and there's probably some questions around that. So anything about qualification or forming your team or anything in that regard?
Did you say if a student can be in the team semifinal and the individual, or do they have to choose one?
I didn't, and they can be in both.
Okay.
Up to the student, it does mean that you have a lot more just competition to do. So it could be mentally taxing to do both because they'll end up being back to back. So that's where you might want some discretion, and maybe your team members are different than the individual competitors. But again, that's going to depend on the individuals. Clint, I saw you raised your hand.
Yeah, David. So at this point, it's UT McCombs has not gotten involved at all, and we want to. But at this point in the year, am I understanding correctly that last chance option would be the only option that we would have to get students into the finals at this
No.
point?
I mean, so we have the September round. So
Okay.
that's September 19th. So that's going to be a chance for a team to qualify.
Okay.
And there's also just the student participation. So Eric and I have talked about this a lot, but if you have a big class and you make, doing part of the MECC as an assignment, say it's due by the end of September, early semester, have them do some keyboarding exercises. If you have 500 students that turn in 2 keyboarding exercises, that's probably going to qualify your team as just a lot of involvement and engagement. So that's the other way, is there would be 5 teams based on those school rankings.
Okay. So it's not accumulation of the different battles throughout the year. It's we could have people come to one. And if they miss that September one, then it would only be the last chance at this point.
For the individuals, there's still the end of September and mid-October, those online qualification rounds. So these that are happening. So
yeah.
We'll also have students in that way.
Okay. Yeah, I think at this point, because we're so new to it, I think, worst cases, we're hoping just to bring students to the finals, to do the training camp, and just to see the chaos and how it all works, and then kind of get on a track for next year.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it. I mean, Eric brought a team to Tucson this last year with kind of the same thing in mind. And I don't want to put too many words in his mouth, but basically the students were super jazzed afterwards, and that's led to a bunch more engagement afterwards. Is that fair, Eric?
Yes, we did not do well in Tucson as far as the competition goes, but we brought home a lot of excitement, and our dean's office got really excited, and they got all behind us creating our own event in Knoxville, basically because of that momentum. So yeah, very good idea to just get people there.
Yeah, and as a quick aside, not for this call, but if you guys want details, just reach out to me or Thomas afterwards. But we are working on setting up regional competitions for the spring. It'll be early April 2025, and we're going to try to do a series of regional competitions around the world. So if you are interested in hosting one at your school, just get in contact with us and we can kind of talk about some of the details about that. And that'll be our main kind of showcase spring event for this next year. All right. Other questions about kind of last chance qualification or the finals and the structure there?
I have a couple of questions. The second is super technical, but the first one, are they? I assume they're on their own machines in the last chance round.
Yes, you'll have to use your own laptop for the last chance qualification, and we're not going to really monitor anything there.
Okay, and then in the after that, is it in the?
It's in the arena on all of the arena computers. So
Okay.
they all are PCs.
Okay.
We've tried in the past to accommodate Macs, and we found that none of the students actually wanted that. Everyone that we've worked with was willing to work on a PC. One thing to watch out for is we don't really accommodate other language settings. So if a student, is looking for a French keyboard or something, they'd have to bring that with them.
Okay, and then the more technical question, the function. So I'm very sensitive to what version of Excel is available based on some things that you and I have talked about with
Yeah.
a fumble we had in our competition. But the functions that are now available, like in beta, like the regular expression functions and the Python functions. Of course, you can put that on your own computer if you can get the insider channel. But do you have any idea what is going to be available in the esports arena?
No. Well, I know that we're going to have the most recent version of Excel 365.
Yeah.
We do not have beta channel. I do not know what's still going to be on beta at that point. The regex functions might be out of beta by then, and Python might be out of beta, in which case they'd be available to the competitors.
Yeah.
Competitors will also be able to bring their own lambdas. So anything that you can bring on a jump drive and put on the computer that you're using is fair game. So I've worked with like Excel Robot. You guys might see a little bit about this. Eric Ohm is the one that puts that together. It's something that you can bring on a jump drive, so it's okay and it's fair to use. If it's something that you have to like download and install from somewhere else, that's not allowed on the arena computers. All right. While you were talking, Eric, I pulled up kind of the semifinal final structure just so everyone can see. The semifinals we talked about. For the finals, we have the top 12 individuals and top 4 teams. Basically, there are 12 computers is what can fit up on the big stage. And so we'll have, 4 teams of 3 and then 12 individuals, and that'll all take place Wednesday afternoon, evening. All live broadcast on YouTube. So we'll have the commentators going. It's a really very professional, it's the main Vegas Excel or esports arena. And so we'll be broadcasting from there. And we'll also be doing all the recording to build it into an ESPNU special that will air a couple weeks later in December. So we've done that the last 2 years, and it actually went really well last year that ESPN already asked us to do it again for this year. So that was kind of a nice feather in our cap. Moving on, costs. So basically conference registration. So this is for the active cell and for the MECC finals. It's all together. It's $500 per student/faculty member. This is basically going through the cost of running the conference, the venue, the esports arena, and some food. We do have a food budget built in here. I think we're going to be able to provide breakfasts. I'm trying to get it so we can do a dinner that Monday night all together. On Tuesday and Wednesday night, we're going to be at the arena. The arena serves food. It's basically bar style food. And there are also like food courts nearby. So it'll be fairly easy for students to get food as they need it. We're still also looking into lunch options, but we're going to have some food provided, but not all is kind of how you should be thinking about it. Let's see, you can see there that the costs do go up on August 1st and September 1st. So getting your team kind of registered earlier is going to be better just to keep the costs a little bit down. We do have a block of hotel rooms booked. So these are in the Luxor, and it's less than $400 for 4 nights. So what I am doing, like I said, I have 10 students going. So I booked 5 rooms. I think each room was like $360 for the 4 nights. So Sunday night through Wednesday night. And I'm going to put 2 students per room. You can do up to quadruple occupancy if you want. You can get like 2 queens and do it that way. I think there's a small upcharge. I think instead of being $360, it ends up being like $395 or something like that. But it's a little bit more to do that. And then obviously transportation depends on where you're coming from. I'm going to, put students in a van from Tucson and drive. Others are going to have to fly. Questions on the costs, or I know I kind of glossed over the finals pretty quick too.
Does the
One
hotel
thing
fee?
here,
Go ahead.
sorry, David, you might want to say that you don't need to know who the students are when registering. So it can be student number 1, student number 2, student number 3, and so on. So
Yeah, that's a great point, because I don't know what 10 students I'm going to bring yet, but we just put in basically placeholders for all the names. So you can just put whatever placeholder you want, and we'll figure it out on the back end and get the names really kind of end of October is when we'll be looking for names.
For budgeting purposes, does a hotel fee include the resort fees? Because those can be $40 a day.
Yeah. So the actual rate on the hotel room is like $29 or $35 because then they layer on all the other fees and taxes. But the $400 is inclusive of all fees and all taxes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's part of why we're doing it Monday through Wednesday right after Thanksgiving, is we could get very affordable rates to hopefully be able to get a good number of student teams there.
So aside from the conference registration, and it sounds like you said around, let's just ballpark 400 per room, and you're splitting 2 people per room. Is there any other ancillary cost that we need to consider? Because I'm gonna kind of put together a we're gonna try to. Oh, sorry. This relates to my other question. I forgot to ask you. So if we were to bring students and have a team last chance qualified, we probably need to at least bring 3 minimum. Is that right? Because you're taking your top 3, and then maybe like I could find 5. That kind of helps our chances better, but all that.
Yeah, exactly. I think 4 is a good number. Just like last year, we had a team of 3 and one of them got COVID, so they had to do 2. And if you have to do 2, it's fine.
Okay, so bring some alternates or some just contingency.
Exactly. I think that's a great idea. And to your question on costs, I mean, I would budget a little bit for food if you want to give them an allowance, or you can just say, hey, you guys have to cover a few of your own meals here and there. And then just the local transport and getting to and from the hotel. I mean, it's pretty easy to get from the Vegas airport to the Strip. That's pretty quick. But then, whatever local transport, and also, the big transport.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Scholarships. So we do have a number of scholarships we're going to be offering to individual qualifiers. So in the event that you book for 5 students, and then one of your students is one of the top 10 online qualifiers, well, we're going to offer to pay their costs for registration, hotel, basically a shared hotel room, and then the airfare reimbursement for those top 10 students. And if you're not in the top 10, but you still pre-qualified in that 35, we're still going to, waive the registration and cover the hotel as well. So, if that happens for one of your students, you can either bring an extra student, or we can basically figure that out in the back end. But we're trying to get the kind of the top individuals there. Just know if that's a situation you run into, just reach out to us and we'll figure out the best way to handle it. Just so you guys also know, we are currently doing a GoFundMe campaign because we'd like to do more than the top 10. It's something we just launched this week. You'll probably see it on the LinkedIn page, or I'll probably actually push it out to you if you guys want to share to your networks. But we're just trying to put together more money to bring students, particularly from developing economies, and also women, to kind of increase the representation in the finals. So that's something we're working on. We hope to raise a good chunk of money to increase from top 10 to top 20 or 30. But again, we'll kind of see where that ends up. Right now, I think we're at $7,400 we've managed to pull together on that. All right. And so my last thing is just get involved, right? I mean, you guys are all here. So, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for trying to engage your students and get them involved in this. I think it only helps them. And a lot of them, you start to get a ton of benefits back, right? I just got an email from a student over the summer that's practicing and kind of telling me what's going on. It's just those connections are really invaluable to me, and seeing the students grow over time is also just fantastic. So if you guys need more information, you can always reach out to me. The info at mecc.college is probably the best because we can make sure it gets to the right person and get back to you pretty quickly that way. I got the two websites there, our main website and the Active Cell website. So now I just really want to open it up to any more questions, comments, thoughts. If you guys want just general MECC information as well, I'm happy to answer anything.
You do the student competition in the Luxor and the HyperX before the professional. Is that the way you're going to structure the Tuesday and the Wednesday night?
I think that's right. It's been a while since we talked through those details, but I'm pretty sure the students are leading off and then the
Gotcha.
pros go after the students. And there might be a little bit of back and forth that happens too.
Gotcha.
I was advocating for that because I'm imagining, all these computers are going to get used by the students and the pros. I want the students and the pros to connect. I want those networking opportunities to happen. So these students essentially have these built-in mentors to really help build up their careers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
David, as I start to bring this back to deans, department chairs, and all that, is there any marketing or decks or things like that that y'all have that you share that helps us kind of do some of that? I see Thomas nodding his head, but yeah, any kind of stuff that helps us kind of say, hey, here's the information about it, and helps us kind of sell it inwardly to our groups.
Yeah. So in the shared box folder that we've set up for you as a college ambassador, there's like a marketing folder there. I forget exactly what it's called. And we just actually finished a kind of a revamp of a bunch of one-page kind of flyers that have a lot of that information. I think Thomas probably has the most recent stuff, so you can always ping him for what the most recent is, but go ahead and look in those folders. I'm not sure the most recent ones are there yet, but within the next week they should be. And more generally speaking, if there's something that you want that you don't see, please let us know, because somebody else probably wants it too. And if it'll help you make the case, we want to make this as easy as possible on your side. We're trying to make this scalable. So please just let us know. Let me, let Thomas know, and we'll get it out for you.
Awesome.
Cool. Other questions, thoughts, Excel cases you guys want to see?
Oh, the Excel cases that are out there right now, I opened one. I'm on summer break right now, so I'm on kind of a vacation. But while I was on the plane, I started playing with the horse one.
Yeah.
And it's definitely pushing my abilities and stuff. So are there solutions available, or do y'all keep those guarded?
So that's an amazing question right now, because right below you on the screen is Chris McNeil. And Chris put together a series of 8 basically walkthrough videos of each level and kind of different parts of the horse challenge.
Cool.
Eric Kelly has also put together some walkthrough videos, and Carolyn Hamilton at Utah Valley has also done some. And so we actually had our call Monday this week for MECC, and one of the next things we're working on is trying to put together a place on our website where you can say like, oh, here's a case. You can access it via the MECC portal, but here are the walkthrough videos that show you kind of how to do it. Because there are a ton of resources that are out there, both for MECC cases and for kind of pro level cases. It's just a matter of us doing a good job of organizing it and getting it ready for you to see and for students to see.
Yeah.
So I'd say keep watching on that. The other thing I'd say on that is Dermot Early, or Dim Early, has a ton of videos of cases that he's done. So that's my go-to source. I would say it's above most students, but it's a great place for you to kind of review stuff and maybe pick a few things that he does and bring those into the classroom or a club meeting or something like that.
And which website was that again?
It's Dim Early's YouTube channel. Thomas, you mind throwing that in the chat if you could find it real quick?
Yeah, I'll throw it in.
My thought would be, I don't want to just give these resources to students. What I'd like to do is, and I don't know if you have any recommendations on like what's a good pedagogy here, but I'm thinking like I'd like to market this to students. I know that we have students out there who would be very interested in this, and then bring them together and say, all right, what I'm thinking is, here's a sample case from 2 finals ago.
Yep.
Let's look at it and just let's all like play with it for 30 minutes or an hour and let our hit our heads against the wall. And then we'll like take a step back and be like, all right, what did y'all learn? And then before we jump into solutions. So I would keep it probably pretty guarded myself, but I'd like to because I'm even thinking about how I'm going to learn some of these things and the advanced array functions and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially how I run my Excel esports class. So I just started one this last year, and each week I would give the students a case to work on, so they have to turn it in ahead of time. And then during class, we basically walk through different approaches. They talk about how they did it, and then I have them go finish it afterwards. So I think it's a great way to approach it from a pedagogy perspective. And I have a lot of the materials out there. I think we have there's a folder now that's basically that organizes training materials for students. So if I haven't sent that to you, I can. And if anybody else wants it, just send either me or Thomas an email, and we can send you basically this kind of pre-built training guide folder that we put together.
All right, thanks.
I also threw in the chat Excel Esports Bootcamp that Giles Mail and Tim Early put together some time ago. It's a great starter if any students are interested.
All right, other questions or thoughts? All right, so thank you again all for being here. Thomas is probably going to follow up with you guys in the next day, week, month, etc., just to answer any other questions, see if he can help you get some students signed up. And we're just trying to get as many students in there as possible. I think it's going to be an amazing event, and so I'd love to see you all there. And I mean, hope to see you all personally there as well, because it'd be really fun. And the more we build this network and share resources, I think the better it is for our students. So thank you again. I guess I'll just close out by saying Excel on, right?
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, David.
I'll stick around if anybody has anything else they want to say.
David, you mentioned there was some kind of marketing material, a folder or something that we would have received.
Yeah. Are you set up as a college ambassador?
Okay, no, I just got an email from the CFA Institute, so I just decided to. Okay, so what do I have to do then to get access to the folder?
So Thomas can set this up for you. Basically, he's going to set up a folder particularly for your school.
Okay.
In that folder, we're going to put the marketing material links, but we also put data. From time to time, we run reports that way you can see which of your students have signed up, which students have done which challenges, how they've done. You'll be able to see like how they score in the competitions, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so are you sending me an email or do I have to do something to get access to that?
If you get your email to Thomas, then Thomas will get it set up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thomas, you want to drop your email in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, one moment.
One moment. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. I think.
Yeah, and just so you know, Danielle, yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, no, thanks, Danielle. I'll get you set up.
Yeah, and anything that you need to help engage your students. I mean, we have things in there like PowerPoint slides you can show in class, emails you can send your students to encourage them to sign up. We're trying to hit any materials that you would want. And again, if there's anything that you see that you want that you don't see, please let us know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, David and Thomas. Thomas, I think you were reaching out about setting up a meeting with me, but I think I'm good on what I need to know at this point, so I appreciate it, and I'm excited.
That's great. All right, I'll follow up and hopefully get an estimated head count sometime soon. So.
Yeah, we get back in August. I think by the time we get back, we're going to probably be way past that August 1st deadline. But if I can get the funding approved, I think I could easily get 3 to 5 students, or let's say that 4. So we're just going to try to show up and observe the first. But yeah, we have great spaces here and I think people would love to show up and like do the sports challenges and do the battles and just get involved. And we're not expected to do well. We want to learn so we understand how to get ready and kick it off in January. full-fledged. So yeah.
Well, then, Clint, one other question is, do you have a booking manager we could reach out to see if we can get you to play a song during the event?
Yeah, it's just my email. Yeah, no problem.
Would you be interested in doing something like that as part of the event?
Sure. I'm just an old man now compared to my rock and roll days. But no, I would love. I'm sure there's something we can do. I can always bring the Excel jacket that Microsoft gave me. So
That's amazing. Yeah. Thomas, if you haven't seen the videos, he did a couple really good music videos that were kind of riffs on popular music, all Excel themed, and it's been what 5-6 years kind of thing.
yeah, I haven't done it in a while. I kind of slowed down on it. It was hard to top what I did the first time. So anyway, but yeah, I'd love to. And that's where I kind of met Oz and a few other people slightly. So yeah, but it's good to
Yes.
connect.
Hey,
So-
Clint, you have a brother called Mark?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Mark is my department head over at Sam Houston State.
Oh, cool.
Mark
Very
Tuttle.
nice. Well, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to get. I was just talking to was it James at Trinity? He was on the call, and so
Yep.
yeah, it's great to get a Texas cohort in there and connect with all of y'all. So Mike, I'll actually let me send you my email real quick, and then we'll connect. And I have no idea what I'm gonna literally go by and see if my department chair happens to be in today, and I'm just gonna kind of go grab that marketing material and just start kind of rounding up people. We have a master's of science in finance. We have a master's in science in business analytics, and then so I think we could probably pull a couple of master students and definitely get some of our analytics undergrads and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited just to see if we can get a team together this year. That'll be fun.
So we just decided to make Excel for financial modeling course mandatory for all general business.
Oh, cool.
So in about 2 years, we're going to really be training a lot of people on Excel.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, looking forward to it as well. All right. Thank y'all very much.
Yeah, thanks, Clint. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
See you, Clint.
Bye, guys.
Mike, any other questions for today?
No, good job today. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Do you guys you think you're going to try to make it as far as
I'm
Self
kind
or-
of maybe using Clint as an example. Certainly, I don't think we're going to be able to field a team, but maybe myself and a couple of students can come out this December.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Just getting a few of them excited, and I'd say pick a few young ones. That way they can carry on and
Yeah, we've
it
got to
going.
focus on freshmen and sophomore for sure.
yeah. Perfect.